All right, so it's Black Friday, Cyber Monday weekend. Thanksgiving is over. Everybody's out shopping, looking for the best deals on stuff, and seems like a good time for me as a nomad, a full-time traveler, somebody who perpetually travels around the U.S. to share a few of my favorite gadgets that I've been using this year, and some of them are repeats from last year. I've been using them for a while. Others are brand new this year, so even as recently as this month in November. But these are things that I have found helpful and is very useful to me as a nomad. And so I thought I'd share my list of the top 6 things. Yeah, get the right fingers here. Top 6 things, however we want to do that I find really useful and that I can recommend as pretty, for the most part, pretty affordable gadgets that might help out you or might help out your friend or loved one who is a serious traveler. So I do want to mention before we dive into this that there will be Amazon affiliate links in the video description if you want to check them out. I may get a small commission from Amazon if you buy something after clicking on one of those links. I may not, but even if I do, it does not cost you anything extra. Amazon pays that out of their end. So it's a way to help support the channel without actually spending any extra money. And you don't have to buy anything. You're welcome to just watch the video and click the links just to check it out and get more information. All right, so without further ado, we'll start off in the kitchen. And one of my favorites here, standbys, I've been using this for several years now. This is a pour-over coffee brewer from Melitta. These things are cheap. You can get them for about $5 online. Yeah, I've never seen them in retail stores, although somebody may carry them. I've never seen them. Sometimes you'll find them in 2 of them for $10 or $11, or you'll find the basket and some natural brown paper filters for $10 or $12. So you see a few different variations, but basically the gist is there's a ring here. It sits on your coffee cup. You put a number 2 brown filter. You can put white one if you want. I use brown ones. Number 2 brown filter in here and put in your coffee. I use about 3 scoops to make almost a quart of coffee. I have a 20 ounce, I think, coffee mug that's like super insulated, and then I have another smaller mug that's like 8 ounces, and so I make both of those at the same time with one pour over, and it works really well. So I've been using it for several years, and I definitely can recommend this for the kitchen. All right, next up is the device I've only been using for a few months now. It came to me this fall. This is a Dash mini rice cooker. It makes 2 cups of rice, and believe it or not, I have not made rice in it yet, but I still found it to be a versatile tool for the kitchen and the van. It runs on standard 120 AC, but what's cool about this is it only uses 200 watts. So most of us who have a solar generator or any kind of reasonable battery system and solar are going to be able to run this thing. Actually, I have a little tiny setup that by comparison, I have a 50 amp battery, I have a 1300 watt inverter, and I do have 200 watts of solar, so I'm able to run this no problem during the day when the sun's shining. Now, I don't run it for hours on end, but I am able to run it for 15 or 20 or 30 minutes. And so what have I done with this if I haven't made rice in it? Well, first off, it's got a lid with a vent hole on it, and then the inside is completely removable, and then you just have your, so it's a standard rice cooker. It's just little, and it doesn't use much power, which is the key for those of us running on batteries. All right, so in the front, cook and warm. You click it down to turn it on to cook, and it clicks if you're cooking rice, it turns off by itself. And there's other things. A bunch of recipes comes with it for things you can cook. But when it's on warm, it's warm but not as hot as cooking, and so it just doesn't use as much power when it's on warm either. So what else have I done with it since I haven't cooked rice in it? I've boiled water in it to make my coffee in the morning when it's a really hot day and I don't want to turn the propane stove on. It took about 20 minutes to boil it, and this was. It took about 20 minutes to boil, and this was pretty well full, and I made my normal, good amount of coffee with it, and so that worked really well. Another thing I've done is made eggs with some meat mixed in, and basically I put it on hot, cooked to get it hot. I pre-mixed them in a plastic bowl, dumped everything in. Actually, I pre-cooked the meat in it, to be honest with you. Then dumped the eggs and stuff in, some seasoning. Stirred it around good, let it cook for a bit, kicked it on to warm, let it set for a bit, took the thing off, you used the little spatula that comes with it and loosened it on the edges, flipped it over, kind of like you do a omelet or something, and yeah, it came out pretty good. Super easy, didn't heat my van up on a hot morning, so good deal. Another thing I've done with it, I made homemade applesauce in this fall. Right in the van, on the middle of the Mojave Desert in southern Nevada, I'm making applesauce and an electric rice cooker. True story. Threw in my apples, a little bit of water, some cinnamon, and you know, mashed them around, and yeah, that kind of stuff you do to make applesauce, and it was made from scratch, and it came out great. So that was fun. So versatile tool, 200 watts, and the thing runs about $20. I've seen it between $18 and $22 on Amazon. So you know, it's hard to go wrong. And I did not actually buy this. This was sent to me by a friend. It's not, none of the products in here are sponsored. Either I bought them myself or a friend gave them to me. But this was sent to me by a viewer, a friend who wanted me to, had been using it and wanted me to check it out and try it. It works great, so I can definitely recommend this little Dash 200 watt mini rice cooker. So link to that in the description as well. Enough of the kitchen stuff. I'll show you my dusty personal fan here. This is by Holmes. Now these are very similar fans made in a few different brands. Holmes just happens to be the one I have, and you can get these at Walmart. This is where mine came from. Deborah actually bought me a couple of these, had them shipped to, for in-store pickup in Gillette, Wyoming, and I picked it up in Gillette, so I didn't have to deal with anything in the store. But I do carry them at Walmart, and you can get them on Amazon sometimes. I'm looking this morning as I'm recording this, and I'm not seeing them on Amazon. I'm seeing similar things, so I'll have a link to something similar. But about this one, it's only, I don't know, it's at about 3 inches or something. It's pretty small. Has 3 different speeds. I never use them all. I only use low. I find that adequate. And I have 2 of these things, so I can position them. What's cool about this I really like is 2 things. One, it's got a rechargeable battery in the back here. And 2, it has, on this side, it's USB powered, so you can recharge the battery with USB, or you can run it direct on USB. And on low, this will run about 6 hours on a battery charge. So you know, I can run these things and recharge them during the day, run them all day, and then use them in the evening as I need them. And they use very little power, even if they're plugged into USB. Very little power. So that's really great. I use it to blow on me to help move air when it's hot. I also use it to blow across the computer when it's hot so that the computer doesn't overheat. Try editing video when it's 95 degrees in the van and the computer, you know, goes on strike. So I recommend these. I'll have a link to one that's similar. It's actually kind of funky. It's brass, so it looks pretty cool, like an old-fashioned fan. And it has also USB. I don't know if that one has the battery in it though, but you'll see a bunch of them on Amazon, and they're probably all substantially similar. This is just the one I have, and I do recommend 1 or 2 of these if you're in a van or an RV or anything, because I have a vent in the ceiling, but the thing pulls a fair bit of power. I got another 12-volt one hanging off, oscillating one up there over the bed that I use once in a while, but these are great because it's easy to manage the power. They don't use much juice at all. Headlamps are basically a must for travelers, right? Or especially if you're doing any camping stuff, RV and tent camping or van life like I do. This one here is actually sent to me by a friend from Amazon, and I don't know the model number on it, so I can't tell you that. But the cool thing with this one is it's USB rechargeable. It's got a rechargeable battery, plug it into USB, recharges. That's really cool. Then I have another one here that my son gave me this last year. This is a black diamond, and this thing's bright, and you know, so this one has regular batteries, but you know, they last a long time, and you know, it's got several different. Oh, there we go. We got the red light going there. I'm not sure I don't even know I turned that on. Wow. Okay, we're back. Now we have the bright light. I don't even know I turned the red light on. So anyways, it's got a few different levels, and it works well, and I can see a long ways, and it's really handy. I have a regular flashlight up there too. I carry all my lights in that nook above the door. But I'll tell you, you know, when you're outside trying to do something, it's really nice just to have your hands free, or if you're going for a walk. It's just handy. So I definitely recommend one of these, and I do have a link to the black diamond one in the video description, since I'm not sure exactly which model this one is. All right, if you're doing any kind of work online or on the computer, or if you're doing, even if you're just trying to carry a lot of, keep your stuff backed up, I definitely recommend an external hard drive to back things up. This is a Seagate Backup Plus 4 terabyte, which is an awful lot of data. Even when you're doing video work, that'll last you a while. And simple plug there. It plugs in to your computer from there, and it's kind of a workhorse. It's not the sexiest, fanciest one on the market. You can get SSDs that are faster. They're also massively more expensive. This is a traditional external hard drive. And this is by a reputable brand, and I've been using this thing, particular drive, for more than a year. Deborah has somebody she's been using for several years, so they've been around. It just works well. Normally these are around 100, 120 bucks. You can get them at Walmart for around that price. You can get them on Amazon for a similar price, but this weekend I see them on Amazon for 79 bucks. So 79 bucks for a 4 terabyte drive is a great value if you're looking for an external hard drive, whether just to carry your backup of your personal stuff, or if you're doing any work, especially where you really have to keep things backed up. That's a good way to go. One thing I do, because it's a traditional hard drive as opposed to an SSD, it can be vulnerable to shocks and bumps, and I'm moving about all the time. So I actually have a little camera case. This is by Case Logic. That I picked up at Walmart for around 10 bucks or 15 bucks, and this thing just fits perfectly right inside of the case, and I keep it in there with a cord, and then I know that it's got some extra padding and protection while I'm bouncing around down some primitive BLM road checking out the scenery. Alright, number 6 on the list. This is brand new to me this month. I've been wanting to do this for a long time, finally did it, and this is a made by BatPower, and this is a 120 watt USB-C car charger. That's the box that comes in. The actual device is quite small, looks like your standard little cigarette lighter adapter things for USB, but what's unique about this one, it has 3 different ports there, and this one in the middle is USB-C, and it puts out 90 watts. That means I can run my MacBook Pro 13-inch on this thing, and this plugs straight into 12 volt and runs that. It's also got a couple of like 18, I think they're 18 watt or something, that you can do like tablets and that kind of thing, cameras, phones. But the big deal for me, what made this worth it, that made it way more worth what I had to pay for it, was this USB-C port that puts out 90 watts, because my MacBook Pro needs 85 watts, and normally I have to plug that into the wall with an AC charger, and then it just has a USB-C port coming out of it. In order to do that, I've turned my inverter on, and there's 2 problems with that for me. Well, the first is that anytime you're running an inverter on your batteries, there's a phantom power draw, so you lose power just because it's turned on, even if nothing's plugged into it. And the second thing is that there's an inefficiency where it's converting it from DC to AC. You lose 15-20% of that power, so you end up wasting electricity the whole time you're using the thing, or even as a turn on, you're not using it. And if you got a limited power supply like I do, that's a real big deal. Second thing about this is I'm getting clean power out of this. The inverter I have in here is a modified sine wave, which is what all of the cheaper ones are. Pure sine wave inverters deliver a cleaner power, and they're also very expensive. But if you're trying to do stuff like run an induction cooktop or a laptop, you really need the pure sine inverter. Now, some things won't run at all on modified sine. It just isn't. The dirt power is not clean enough. They won't run on it, or they won't run it correctly. Your laptops may run on it, but it has a habit of shortening the battery life. And so this is going to save me a lot of money on that too, because if you got one of these MacBooks like I have, you can't just order a new battery on Amazon and replace the battery like you can with some computers. This particular model, you have to split the deck as a case, and they replace the battery and the keyboard assembly as one unit, and it's a ridiculous amount of money. So I don't want to wear out the battery. So this is a good investment of like $60. I've seen them a little higher in the past, but this month they're $60 on Amazon. So good value if you have anything, tablets or laptops that can run on USB-C, cameras, anything that can run on USB or USB-C up to the specifications. It'll put out 120 watts total, 190 just on that USB-C. So if you got something you can run on this, it's much more efficient than trying to run it off an inverter. So that's my 6 lists for today: the Melitta pour over coffee brewer, the Dash mini rice cooker, Holmes Personal Fan, Black Diamond headlamp or any good headlamp, Seagate Plus hard drive, and the BatPower 120 watt USB-C charger. So those are my recommendations for this year. Hope they help you. And again, if you want to check out any of these things, look in the video description below. There'll be links to them on Amazon where you can learn more, or go ahead and order them if you want. And for those of you who do choose to order anything through the Amazon affiliate links, and if you order, the catch is if you click on one of those links and go to Amazon and then you buy something totally unrelated, I still can get a small commission on that, and that does help support this channel, and I appreciate your support. And the reason I love it, I know a lot of people do Amazon Associates, the reason I love it is because it doesn't cost you a penny extra. So you can help support the channel without spending any extra money. So I love that. So thanks for joining this video. Hope you found it helpful. And I'd love to know in the comments, what are your top recommendations for gadgets or gear for nomads or travelers this holiday season? Thanks for joining me. We'll see you in the next one, everybody. Hope you're having a good weekend.